TLO, what's poppin'? Dang, I spit. We are on Twitch. We're not live, but you can leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notification bells. Let's continue to grow the family from Chicago to the UK, man. Right behind me, you see a little warning screen just in case. Never know. Twitch.com is where you can catch a live stream. Usernames at the bottom of the screen. And we also got Patreon, Monday through Sunday, Premier League highlights, UK TV shows, and UK movies. That's everything that we can't show on here. It's over there. This is by OCG TV, How Police Caught Britain's Most Wanted Woman After 9 Years on the Run. That's tough. Talk to me.
Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. No copyright infringement intended. All rights belong to their respective owners.
Imagine being on a run for 9 years, ducking and diving, looking over your back at every 9 years of it, though.
Back in
probably relieved.
Back in 2022, the National Crime Agency's Most Wanted list was a hotbed of fraudsters, drug lords, rapists, paedophiles, and murderers. As you might expect, it's dominated by men. But among the 21 criminals on the list, there is one solitary woman, staring out of a mugshot with stormy blue eyes and the smallest hint of a smile.
Looked like she got a cold sore, too.
Sarah Panitsky had been
okay, never mind, that's the lighting.
The most wanted woman in Britain for 7 years by the time she was caught in Spain in 2022.
Everybody always be getting caught in Spain. Y'all might need to stop going to Spain.
But who was this mystery woman? And how serious were her crimes to afford her a place on the annual NCA list of most
she looked like she shop at Whole Foods. She got a turtleneck on?
Wanted criminals. You are watching OCG TV. Raised. Sarah Panitsky wasn't your typical criminal. Raised in the affluent village of Escrick near Selby, she came from a privileged background. Educated at York College for Girls and the prestigious St. Peter's School, she held degrees from Manchester Metropolitan University.
Something's not adding up. You got all of this going for you. You got degrees. It can't be no fraud. Why would you do some fraud? You can go get money legally.
And a master's from a university in Barcelona. She had a happy childhood, growing up with both parents and a brother. She rarely disobeyed or fought with her family.
Both parents, dual parent household, and not the middle child. One girl, one boy. No struggle there, it seems.
Her parents built a bar with beer taps, a pool table, and a TV at the end of their garden for her and her friends to socialize in.
Girl, what more did you want? Your parents built you a bar? Oh my God.
That
might be the issue. She was handed everything, and once she got into that real world, it was like a sensory overload, and she went crazy. Okay, what happened?
Sarah was 19. A revelation about her father's success rocked their family. The building contractor he owned had acquired council properties and sold them prematurely for a large profit. An investigation was launched, and her father's dad was arrested and eventually given 4 years in jail and serving 2.
Wait, what? What was he arrested for?
A revelation about her father's success rocked their family. The building contractor he owned had acquired council properties and sold them prematurely for a large profit. An investigation was launched.
What's the crime in that?
And her father's dad was arrested and eventually given 4 years in jail and serving 2.
Because somebody clear that up in the comments. What is the crime?
Sarah moved back home to be with her mum for the first few months her father was inside. She travelled back and forth between Manchester and York, accompanying her on visiting days, disrupting her own studies and social life to be present.
So her father going to jail was the destruction in her life that caused all of this. going back and forth, messed up her normal routine.
When Sarah's father was released from prison, she relaunched her life plan quickly and left to study for her master's degree in business management at Pompeu Fabra University in Barcelona, aged 25. But somewhere between leaving York and moving to Spain, Sarah became embroiled in a white-collar crime of her own.
Okay, so wait, alright.
Alongside 18 other fraudsters from up and down the UK, Sarah established a network of companies that bought and sold mobile phones with a money-making twist. The group purchased phones VAT-free from EU countries.
Stolen phones. So she was the mastermind behind the stolen phone epidemic?
And sold them in the UK for a higher tax-inclusive price. The head of the crime ring was a 78-year-old Scotsman, Geoffrey Johnson. He recruited fellow fraudsters, including Sarah, from towns and cities across the UK. They were so unconnected that even the authorities couldn't establish exactly how the mastermind had found his co-conspirators, although there was a suggestion at the trial that an unidentified party overseas had linked them together. Phones were the chosen commodity because they were small, valuable, and easy to take in and out of the country in what looked like a legitimate business. After the goods were sold, the company would disappear without paying £1 to HMRC in what's known as missing trader intra-community fraud. But the crime didn't stop there. The scam was repeated time and time again with the same products.
That's too risky. When you doing stuff to get over on the government, they're never gonna get. It's gonna be so relentless of a hunt. Like when you committing fraud on the government, like they might let you go if it's some non-government stuff, but like you evading like this type of stuff, you're done.
At one stage, there were more mobile phones being purchased and exported by the crime syndicate in the space of a month than legitimately bought or sold in the country as a whole. The gang had access to a banking platform that allowed one person to transfer huge sums of money up and down a supply chain without losing control of the cash. For each deal, the scam would rob the authorities twice. By owning all companies involved, the gang could claim back unpaid tax from the public purse. HMRC didn't challenge it. They focused on...
Yeah. So this sounds like y'all version of the IRS. The IRS in America is something you do not play with. You're not playing with them. And this is HM Revenue and Customs. Oh, no. And you got over on them twice? Yeah. You was cooked. Once they found out, you was done. You embarrassed them? Oh, man. The IRS gonna lock you up. They gonna take everything for you. So I can imagine what HM Revenue doing.
Checking if the paper trail confirmed the purported transactions, which it always did. Sarah travelled to Dubai, Spain, and Andorra to clean the money the crime ring had stolen.
Damn.
She oversaw the company's accounts and used generated IP addresses
So she got money laundering, fraud.
to keep their operation untraceable online. While she conned the taxman, she lived in an apartment.
I'm letting you know, conning a taxman is not it. Don't do it. It may look good for some while, but they're gonna build that case and it's gonna be so airtight. Well, you're gonna be in a white collar prison maybe, but you out of there.
In a gated community near Villanova. While she conned the taxman, she lived in an apartment in a gated community near Villanova i la Geltrú, a port town south of Barcelona, and enjoyed an outdoor swimming pool and views of the Mediterranean.
Beautiful.
From there, she drove a Mercedes CL500 to the resort town of Sitges, where she worked for hotels and a tennis academy in the early 2000s as an apparent front to hide her criminal life.
She was smart about it though. She had her front and everything.
She and her partner also ran a business, Investorest Plans, based in the nearby town of Canyelles. In the summer of 2005, HMRC began to notice irregularities in their bank transactions. Sarah had wired huge quantities of cash to global offshore bank accounts. After a lengthy 21-month investigation into the
See what I'm saying? 2-year investigation almost. They was making sure, buddy, you're not getting out of that. 2 years investigating, you thinking you are on the run, you thinking you haven't living life. They just plotting on you, letting you do whatever you want and keeping track of it from that point on.
Multi-million-pound scam, dubbed Operation Volta, authorities conducted a series of morning raids up and down the UK in September of 2007. Sarah pled not guilty, as did the rest of the group accused. She didn't stick around to see if the defence would work.
Made bail and got up out of there, didn't she?
Before the gavel hit the block, she was gone. In her absence, she was sentenced to 8 years in prison. Panitsky was last seen in Villanova-Ilageltru a year before her trial and infuriated her neighbours by allegedly leaving more than €40,000 in unpaid community fees, similar to ground rent, which they claim she'd refused to pay for over a decade. Panitsky and her...
She was getting all that money and didn't pay rent for over a decade? The audacity.
...partner are still the registered owners of the flat to this day. Neighbours say that she was unpopular.
Oh, that's like... not rent. It's more like property tax. She ain't paid property tax for a decade.
And called her an idiot for not paying the community fees, as well as installing a bathroom and making changes in her flat without permission. The years passed without any sign of Sarah Panitsky.
Yeah.
Over time, she crept up the rankings in the most wanted list.
Community fees. Or is that more like the homeowners association? I wouldn't pay that either. I mean, all right, I get it. Like, you gotta pay it, but like, come on now. Allegedly, I wouldn't pay it. Just in case any future applications is looking at my videos, I'm gonna pay it.
Every year, there would be the usual NCA appeal, that infamous passport photo of Sarah looking innocently back at the camera, but no leads ever came. Panitsky's long-standing links with Spain led HMRC to contact the Guardia Civil, who began to assist in the hunt for her. By 2015, they had tracked her down to the town of Olivella in the province of Barcelona. Surveillance revealed that Panitsky hardly ever ventured out of her hiding place and was dependent on weekly visits from her husband, who brought her basic supplies. However,
yeah, I figured she had to be put up. She wasn't even dealing with the looking over your shoulder. She just ain't pop out.
During the operation that was due to lead to her arrest, she managed to pick up on the police presence, completely change her appearance, and escape. From that moment, she became a priority aim for investigators, who gathered and analysed a massive quantity of information about her and kept a permanent watch on her closest contacts. They also found that she had broken off all physical contact with her family in Spain to avoid being detected. Tragically, Sarah's father died of natural causes during the UK's first coronavirus lockdown on the 22nd of April 2020. Yet, mourning was not enough to push Sarah from hiding. She has been so successful in outsmarting the authorities that police even resorted to asking British holidaymakers to help them find Sarah in 2019, after 6 years of fruitless searching. Unknown to the authorities, she arrived in the small town of Santa Barbara the same year she fled to Olivella and moved into the block of flats, which has a small outdoor pool and views of the Tenenza de Benefassa National Park. She adopted a new identity.
Her problem was she still needed, like, somewhere nice. She could have ducked off in a hood somewhere and never been seen anywhere. But she had to have a view. She had to have a pool, a patio. And then you didn't respect your neighbors. You breaking the law. You got to be an outstanding neighbor. I ain't even going to lie to you. You got to be one of the best neighbors on the planet Earth.
And on her postbox was...
So your neighbors be unsuspecting, like, oh, no, Sarah? No, she was such a sweetheart. No, I don't have any information. I'm sorry. I don't know. That's the energy you want. They hated you. They was tricking if they got the opportunity.
The name Maria Antonietta. In February 2022, detectives were alerted to her possible presence in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, she loved her dad. And she was like, well, my daddy did it. So, I'm just going to be smarter.
small town of about 4,000 people in Tarragona province. Police closely watched a woman matching the Panitsky's physical description who lived in a block of flats on the outskirts of town. Mindful of what had happened in 2015, a large team of plainclothes officers was deployed on a round-the-clock watch that lasted several weeks. Panitsky stuck to her routine, only leaving her 3-bedroom marionette to swim in the block's small outdoor pool.
See? Gotta go swimming, huh? You just had to swim.
During the siesta, go to the supermarket, or walk her dogs twice a day. She would go
had to have companionship from a dog.
Swimming in the quiet hours at lunchtime between 2 and 4. She was very discreet in everything that she did. The neighbours would later comment that they thought she was a bit strange. Everyone in the town knew each other, but Sarah avoided unnecessary contact. Life had become harder. The money had run out, and when her washing machine broke, she became upset because she could not afford to repair it. She never mentioned life in England and rarely spoke with her family other than a video call during the Christmas lockdown that year.
How did the money?
Panetsky,
She must have been spending on dumb stuff in the beginning.
tried her
Nobody ever thinks of the out.
hand at selling knitwear and cross-stitch but struggled. She made beautiful satchels and tried to sell them to a local shop owner to make a living, but he wasn't interested. Panetsky would visit neighbours for a cup of tea, but rarely invited others into her flat. Those neighbours who did get a glimpse into her home would later reveal that the apartment was completely empty, as if someone had just moved in. She had beautiful and expensive clothes, which were peculiar for someone who never went out, because they said they didn't have any money. The strange situation regarding this mysterious neighbour would soon be explained. On Sunday, the 27th of...
It's easy to say all of that in retrospect. Like, you know what? I had a feeling she was a little weird. Like, that's easy to say in retrospect.
February 2022, bemused residents watched as an elite team of the Civil Guard from Madrid descended on Maria as she walked her dogs 500 yards from her home.
Dang, that's her?
Officers from the force and HM Revenue and Customs
I thought she was one of them in plain clothes, and them was sniffer dogs. I ain't even...
embraced as Panitsky was taken away. Her captors would discover a fake Italian ID in the name of Antonietta Agrillo, which she had been using for the previous 7 years. When she faced up to her crimes at Kingston Crown Court, she was given an unexpected lifeline. The judge recapped the sentence handed down in 2013, confirming that now she was extradited, that her initial sentence of 8 years would stand, and that she could be paroled after only 4. However, that came with the condition that she paid a confiscation order of over $2.4 million.
God. Nah, I'm good. Give me the 8, buddy. Give me the 8. I ain't gonna never have that $2 million. Give me the 8
million pounds, or face a further 9 years on top of her original sentence. Needless to say, no money was paid within the 3-month deadline, and she was given the increased sentence.
Don't have to.
Not only that, but the original outstanding amount, including interest, continues to accrue at a rate of £538 a day.
She'll never get that.
And has topped $4 million as of today. Behind the headlines, there are innocent family members.
Does she have children? No, right?
Who have had to endure great hardship due to the choices made by their loved ones. When Sarah was eventually found, her own mother gave a sad and damning indictment on the relationship with her daughter. Speaking from her home in the sleepy village of Market Weighton, East Yorkshire, she said, "At least I know she is safe and well, but otherwise I have no comment." It was the first news she had heard from her daughter.
Because when she's never going to pay that debt. So when she passes on, like, it goes somewhere. The next kind of family going to get that
in
bill.
10 years on the run. Sarah's brother also told Vice magazine that the whole saga had been incredibly difficult for everyone involved. Sarah Panitsky's family endured a decade of heartbreak while she lived as one of Britain's most wanted fugitives. Her decision to flee from a £2.4 billion VAT fraud conviction
Billion? Oh yeah, the IRS or the HM Revenue Service, they wasn't going for that. They was going to
tore
catch
apart the
you. See, they never stopped searching.
fabric of her once close family. Most devastatingly, Sarah's life on the run meant she couldn't attend her beloved father's funeral, a loss that would haunt her forever. Living in isolated
She free now.
Spanish villages, Sarah's world shrank to a careful routine of brief grocery trips and anxious glances over her shoulder.
How police caught prison after 9 years. She free now, yeah.
She lost touch with friends and missed countless family
But no, she's still locked up a little bit.
milestones, birthdays, weddings, and the simple joy of Sunday dinners with loved ones. While the fraud scheme brought temporary wealth, the true cost was measured in the hollow echoes of missed phone.
People always get caught because they're greedy. They were good. They should have just stopped. But no, the HM, the revenue, when it comes to money and the HM revenue and customs and government and IRS, they're always going to figure it out. You just got to have a plan. Like, what is the end goal?
Phone calls and
let's
empty
just
chairs
stop
at
there.
family gatherings. Now serving a sentence, Sarah faces the brutal reality that no amount of money could compensate for the irreplaceable years lost with her aging parents and the relationships fractured by her choices.
Sarah don't give a damn. Leave a like, comment. Let me know what you think.